Let it go. Today's curse might be tomorrow's gift. Today's gift might be tomorrow's curse. When you can't steer the river, stop fighting the current. There's a classic Taoist wisdom story that every East Asian school kid learns in their textbook. It goes like this. On the northern frontier of ancient China lived an old man wise in the ways of the Tao. The villagers called him the old man of the border. One day, his horse vanished, galloping off into the lands of the nomads. Neighbors came running. What terrible misfortune! The old man only smiled. How do you know this isn't a blessing? Months later, the lost horse returned, leading a beautiful wild mare beside it. The neighbors cheered. Such incredible luck! The old man shook his head. How do you know this isn't a disaster? His only son adored riding. One day, he mounted the new mare, was thrown off, and shattered his leg, crippled for life. The neighbors mourned. What tragedy! The old man replied calmly, How do you know this isn't a blessing? The following year, war broke out. The emperor conscripted every able-bodied young man to fight the invaders. 9 out of 10 boys from the border villages never came home. The old man's son, because of his broken leg, stayed behind. Father and son lived on, safe and together. So tell me, was losing the horse bad luck or good luck? Was the broken leg a curse or a salvation? No one can ever know. As an aside, my friend reminded me that, well, there really was a man in a modest Southampton pub who during a card game lost his third-class ticket to the Titanic to another fellow. He must have felt utterly devastated that night. Little did he know that misfortune quietly saved his life.
Misfortune, alas, is where good fortune leans. Good fortune, alas, is where misfortune hides. Lao Tzu, Tao Te Ching. This single line later gave birth to 2 famous sayings. Misfortune and fortune depend on each other, and blessing and disaster are intertwined. The whole idea boils down to one sentence. Good and bad are never set in stone. They lean on each other and can flip at any second. What makes you sob today might be tomorrow's greatest gift. What makes you swagger today might be quietly digging your grave. We're all guilty of snap judgments. Make a buck and we feel invincible. Lose something and the world ends. But life isn't TikTok. It's the longest running drama ever. We're usually stuck on one single frame, frantically hitting like or cry, while time, the real director, just smirks and prepares the biggest plot twist of all. The best modern proof, Steve Jobs. Jobs is 30, standing on top of the world. Apple is skyrocketing. He's a billionaire. Magazine covers everywhere. Then, in one brutal year, the board he handpicked kicks him out of his own company. At that moment, the entire planet agreed. Jobs is done, finished, game over. Every headline wrote his obituary. And then what? Getting fired set him gloriously free. He started Next and bought Pixar. At Pixar, he turned a bankrupt little studio into the home of Toy Story, the world's first feature-length computer-animated movie, and later sold it to Disney for $7.4 billion, becoming Disney's largest individual shareholder. At Next, he quietly built an operating system nobody understood until it became the beating heart that saved Apple. 12 years later, Apple was weeks from bankruptcy and begged him to come back. He walked in with Next Tech, dropped iMac, iPod, iPhone, iPad, and turned a dying company into the most valuable company humanity has ever seen. That sky is falling firing turned out to be the greatest real-life example of misfortune is where fortune hides anyone has ever lived. At Stanford's 2005 commencement, Jobs said the line the whole world now quotes. "Getting fired from Apple was the best thing that ever happened to me. The heaviness of being successful was replaced by the lightness of being a beginner again. It freed me to enter one of the most creative periods of my life." So gaining isn't always a blessing. Losing isn't always a curse. No 1985 disaster, no later Jobs legend. Ancient Chinese poet Lu Yu put it perfectly. At the end of mountains and rivers, when you think there's no way out, suddenly willows darken, flowers brighten, and another village appears. Jobs gave us the most vivid, living Tao Te Ching class of the modern age. When you're winning, don't get cocky. Fortune might be hiding misfortune. When you're losing, don't panic. Misfortune is usually cradling fortune. Lighten your grip on the moment, lengthen your trust in time, and, like the old man at the border, like Steve Jobs, like every soul who truly gets it, always keep one quiet line in your heart. Maybe the story isn't over yet.
Taoism keeps saying, let it go, not because it's lazy, but because it has seen through the toughest truths of life and the universe. Here are the 4 big ones. Super simple. 1. You can't control almost anything. Laozi said, "Heaven and earth don't play favorites. They treat everything like straw dogs." The universe doesn't follow your script. Weather, politics, money, other people's thoughts, illness, death. 99.9% of life is out of your hands. The tighter you hold on, the more tired and messed up you get. Truly wise people only work on the 0.1% they can change and let everything else go. 2. The harder you force it, the worse it gets. Push water, it pushes back. Squeeze sand, it slips away faster. Life is the same. The more you try to force a relationship, a deal, or your kids, the more it breaks. Taoism found the rule. When you do too much, nothing gets done. When you stop forcing, things naturally work out. 3. Only time can judge what's good or bad. Gain or loss, success or failure, nothing can be judged right now. The old man who lost his horse, Steve Jobs getting fired, perfect examples. The feelings and opinions you're clinging to today might look ridiculous in a few years. Since the final answer always comes later, why stress now? Just let it go and let time tell the truth. 4. True freedom happens the moment you release everything. Zhuangzi said, "The highest person has no self. The divine person wants no credit. The sage wants no fame." When you drop, "I want this," and "I'm scared of that," your heart suddenly becomes empty, light, and fully alive. That feeling of being one with heaven, earth, and everything, that's Taoism's ultimate joy. One sentence summary of why Taoism loves let it go. Because the rhythm of the universe is 10,000 times more reliable than your little plans. The sooner you hand the wheel to the Tao, the sooner you reach the shore. So, Taoism is not telling you to lie flat and give up. It's telling you, when it's time to let go cleanly and boldly. That is actually the highest, smartest kind of effort.